Governor Walz is allowing places of worship to open later this week, of course, with safety restrictions in place. However, some are deciding to keep their doors closed to the public. The story has a lot of you talking online, so we're talking about it in this morning's Digital Dive. Now, starting this coming Wednesday, places of worship can open at 25% occupancy. According to the Minnesota Department of Health, people must be 6 feet apart, and there is a maximum of 250 people in a single self-contained space. All this may be exciting news for some. Other church leaders, like Reverend Steve Daniels Jr. from Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church out of St. Paul, believes that there are far too many disparities that come with this virus.
Let's be honest, this virus has affected African Americans and minorities more so than anyone else. One of the last things I want to happen at Shiloh, a faithful member come, or a visitor come, or whoever come, and they get sick there.
And the Reverend tells us they will continue to hold virtual services for now and wait and see how things play out in the days and weeks to come. The Muslim American Society of Minnesota also released a statement saying their places of worship will remain closed until infection rates across the state start to decline. A lot of people making comments on our Carolyn Facebook page about this story, like Lori here, saying that it's their choice and they should have that opportunity to do that from the very beginning. And Alicia here says that her household will continue to stay home. She says our church is still open, but the building is closed. And Archbishop Bernard Ebda of the Archdiocese of St. Paul in Minneapolis said he was very happy and thankful how things turned out, how his conversation turned out with Governor Tim Walz last week, because he made a decision relatively quickly, turning things around so they could open this Wednesday.
Yeah, for some, the virtual ceremonies just don't cut it. Thanks for sharing that, Alicia.